Hey, I'm Alex Radical from Board Game Co., and this is Two Back or Not to Back, where we're going to go through a bunch of crowdfunding campaigns, talking about the games, the pledges, the values, and more, and all of that. And before we go ahead and dive into today's video, we're going to actually start off not with Cult of the Now, which we'll get to shortly, but rather Level Up Retreat. Level Up Retreat was a convention that we ran last year, that I hosted last year, that took place in Connecticut at the time, and that was July, I can't remember the exact dates, but mid-July last year, and this year is changing up the date just a drop, and we're still seeing where things will go, but it's going to be February 2nd to 4th of 2024. It's going to be in Woodbridge, New Jersey. We found a new place, cheaper rooms, better location, close to the airport, all those things, trying to get a better place for this year's event. If you want to go ahead and use the link over here, there's going to be a link over there. If you use that, you're going to be alerted to the early bird discount, so make sure to use that as soon as possible, because ticket sales will be going on sale shortly, and if you do put your link in there, you will get an early bird notification. There's no commitment right now. Right now, you're just throwing in an email. You can unsubscribe at any point, but at least this way you'll have that opportunity to save a few dollars while going ahead and possibly joining us for a convention in February in Woodbridge, New Jersey, as we sit down and play games. You can check out a bunch of videos of the event from last year. A bunch of people have covered. If you just search Level Up Retreat, you'll find a bunch of videos from your favorite content creators, and a bunch of those will be back again this year, so make sure to, check it out. See if you want to join. We'd love to have you. Past that, starting off with Cult of the Now. Cult of the Now is a segment where, before we dive into all these crowdfunding campaigns, because we're about to dive into all these crowdfunding campaigns, we talk about the games you can get your hands on now. Although this one is a crowdfunding campaign that you could have backed a while ago, or you could have just waited and paid like $3 extra to go ahead and get it now without having to wonder, worry, wait, all of those things. As much as I love crowdfunding, sometimes you are being asked to pay for things a year and a half in advance. Sometimes you're being asked to buy things that very often don't have nearly as much coverage or reviews of those games. Well, usually lots of coverage, usually very few reviews, and very often you're asked to take a risk. And so sometimes it's a good reminder that you can often get great games available now, and sometimes great games even includes the same crowdfunding games that you passed on at the time. If you had paid attention to Dreadful Meadows back then, and I really like Dreadful Meadows, by the way, I highly enjoy the game, I recommend the game, all that stuff, but if you had backed it back then, you would have basically been taking all those risks, paying a few dollars less. I think it would have been a few dollars cheaper to get it down there back then, but, now you could just wait and get it now instead. And with that, let's go ahead and start off, although as usual, disclaimer that I do work for Gamefound. Please take that into account. I started this series around 4 years ago now, but I've been working for Gamefound for a little over a year. Please take that bias into account as we go through the campaigns. And starting off, finally, with the board game adjacent category. Board game adjacent is going to have Vizzles, visual puzzles, Winnie-the-Pooh, a jigsaw puzzle adventure where finishing is just the beginning. These are little like visual puzzle kind of things. Like the art is not, it's not just a puzzle, it's a puzzle and a little bit of a game at the same time. And that's going to come to you from Sam Milham, who's a bunch of crowdfunding campaigns under his belt, both games and non-games alike. And this is kind of like semi-escape room kind of thing. Not really like escape room, but like a puzzle with a bunch of secrets. They have a bunch of series of these. They're going to be running, around $25 a pop, although the more you get, save on shipping and all that. But you can go ahead and get, like, all 4 puzzles, all 6 puzzles for $132. It's less than $25. $150 would be $25 a pop. So if you get all 6, you can get a decent savings on all the various puzzles. If you're interested in this kind of thing, they have a bunch of things. They have more stuff to look through, so you can see which ones you want. Maybe you want some, but not others. Maybe you want a little bit of Alice in Wonderland, or a little bit of, Adventurers, or Egypt. Any kinds of things you want over here. Movie buffs. They have a bunch of these categories to go ahead and jump into. Past that, moving on to the next one, we have Deluxe board game train sets, Wave 2. 1,200 backers, $128,000 raised, 11 days to go. These are very cool, but also very expensive train sets. That's what's going on here. They're very cool, but very expensive train sets. This is the second time they've done this set. This time, I believe they did engines last time, and now they're doing more rail cars and all that. So if you want a bunch of these very cool options for, like in Deluxe, find your Ticket to Ride game, or Steam, or who knows, whatever train game you want, if you want to see if these are something that would be a visual upgrade to your table. They are not cheap, not by any means. A full set of, trains and everything is going to run you, I think it was a set of extraordinary engines and one set of remarkable rail cars is $120 if you want all these. You could add more sets, so they're not the cheapest to get your hands on them, but they are very cool if you want them. That's going to be Deluxe board game train sets, remarkable rails, and extraordinary engines, coming to you from, I don't remember the name of the company. I don't remember the name of the company now. I have to say it. The Little Plastic Train Company. They had a crowdfunding campaign last year. They're bringing more of them to your table now. Moving on, in the last in the board game adjacent category, we have the WALLZAP, the future of board game display. 351 backers, $30,000, 26 days to go. The WALLZAP is a magnetic board game display that lets you mount these games on your wall. Basically what happens is you take a little bit of magnet, you put it into the bottom of your box underneath the insert and all that, and then you go ahead and put the magnet on the wall, and then you can just take all these various board games and start mounting them. Not just the box cover, but the full board game can be mounted on your wall, which is a cool concept. There's a few small caveats. The biggest caveat is going to run you like $25 a game to go ahead and do this, so you have to be willing to pay for that kind of premium experience. You don't want to be putting these magnets on all of your games. That would be a very expensive conversation very quickly. But if you do want to mount select pieces of games on the wall, or select board games and put them on the wall, if you want that wall art aspect, if you want that ability to just take a game off the wall and just bring it to the table, I mean, it will leave a gap in your wall for right now, but that is a good reminder and a good incentive to go ahead and clean up. Also, please take into account that some games will require more than one magnet. Depending on the weight of your game, you might require multiple magnets, so just take that into account. If you're mounting Eclipse 3rd edition, they basically show you're going to need 3 magnets. That is an expensive piece of wall art that you already own, you're just not mounting it on the wall. So a cool concept, but that's going to be one of the things. I will do the thing now that we'll see if I'll always be doing it, but I hope to always be doing it, which is I will point out they are unfortunately doing that fake limited pledge thing, unfortunately. Basically, and again, it's one of those weird things where many crowdfunding campaigns have someone who's helping them with their marketing and all that. In this case, I believe it's currently Launch Boom, who previously did a bunch of other games. So actually, if you actually look at some of the art over here, they have things like the Bear Mountain game, they have the Botany game, so they have some previous Launch Boom customers being shown in these art things, which doesn't bother me at all. That's just good marketing, no problem. They're displaying it, all good, but there's certainly a sense of collaboration going on there, which again, doesn't bother me, but that sense of identity. But past that, the actual problem that I have is that these marketing companies are encouraging companies to sit there and say, by the way, please go ahead and lie to your customers by offering a limited pledge, meaning a limited pledge that they're going to adjust those numbers. So, hey, we have a limited quantity of 19 left of 20 over here. I guarantee you if that got closer to being 1 or 2 left, that 20 would be bumped up. That is a new trend we're seeing, unfortunately, and I'm going to call out every single company that does it as long as I can justify it and basically say, hey, this is an unfortunate situation in which you're willing to continuously lie to your customers about the quantity of pledges that you have because it gets you more sales. It is a lie that you're engaging with now. It is a lie you're going to continuously engage with. You're going to continuously update it. You are basically creating a lie. You're giving the FOMO, but not even with the justification of this is actually a limited thing that you can't get your hands on. I don't have a problem with marketing. Marketing definitely exists, but it's trickier when you're engaging with FOMO. That's also a lie. That's the two boat. It's not good, it's not cool. I do have a full video coming out on the subject, and I will continuously call this out as something that I do not want to see in crowdfunding. It's basically those websites. You know, you go to those websites and you see that countdown timer, you have 7 minutes left to make this purchase. That's scummy and shady, and it's not a fun thing. It's incentivizing people to buy something because you're lying to them about the actual availability. It's not cool. Crowdfunding should do better than that. Moving on. Not the last one we're going to be calling out today. We're going to keep doing this. It's fun. I'm enjoying this. I will make a lot of enemies along the way. Well, hopefully not. Hopefully I don't. I don't resent the companies doing this. I don't. I just don't like this practice, and I think it's, and again, I recognize that I've defended other practices as being necessity to a degree. I go into a full video why, well, coming up soon, we'll see, as to why one bothers me more than the other. That's going to be the last of our board game adjacent categories. A little bit of spiciness added in there. That's going to be our last of our board game adjacent categories, which brings us to our partner of the day. Our partner of the day is Mint Mobile. I've been talking about them for, a few videos here and there, but the most recent thing that I mentioned a while ago is they had all their 3-month plans are dropping to $15 a month. You want that $30 a month unlimited plan? Well, for right now, it's only $15 a month if you want to give it a shot and see if it's something that's right for you. I switched to Mint Mobile in December, I want to say, of last year. I did so as a customer. I saw it on the internet. I wanted to save money. I tried it out, and I've enjoyed the plan and saved money along the way. So when they reached out to me, March or something like that of this year and said, hey, we'd love to work with you on various, sponsorships videos and all that, I was like, I already use and already like your service, so that sounds like an easy win-win. When you switch to Mint Mobile, the process takes 5-10 minutes, something like that. It was an incredibly quick process for me to switch over, and then as far as your savings, it's going to vary by person, I'm sure, but for me, I dropped from paying around $50 a month to paying like $15 a month. For me, that 5 gigabyte a month plan for me is more than enough to cover my data needs. Everyone will vary though, so if you want that unlimited, if you want that 15, that 20, this unlimited plan over here is dropping. Those savings on those plans is going to be ending 10/31. October 31st is your last day to go ahead and jump onto those plans. So if you were on the fence, this is a good time to jump in. And if you're not sure if it is for you or not, it's still something that I think you'll save money with down the road. I'm talking about this because it's a service I use, I like, and I believe will save you money and, Well, it'll cost you time, but it'll cost like 7 minutes, so that's not bad at all. Past that, nation's largest 4G LTE network, all that kind of stuff over there. Lots of good things about the service, but overall, short version is I saved money and didn't really have any compromising on my service along the way. So, highly recommend that, and please make sure to use my link down below if this is something that interests you so that they know I sent you. Moving on to the crowdfunding category, starting off with a not yet funding, and I'm skeptical this will fund, though it's hard to say, but I'm skeptical it's fun. It could cross that finish line, but it's going to be hard. But it's going to be Deep 6, a game of galactic mayhem. Before we dive into this game, full disclaimer that we did do, Board Game Co. did do paid coverage of this game, just take that into account. But 92 backers, 26 days to go, 26 days to go. Deep 6 is a strategic abstract game for 2 players as you place down your various cards into the grid, trying to take over various sections by engaging in battles, taking over areas around it, working with your leaders, all those fun little things. The game's going to come with a few pledge levels over here, and I will say, just before I get into it, because I don't want to get people calling me out on this and that, they do have some limited pledges, but these ones I believe are genuinely limited. They have some like with art prints or something like that. They had something over here, this one, the early back exclusive, that was a limited edition pledge with art prints. So I think that one's actually, oh, it's this one, maybe it's this one. None left, limited quantity. Yeah, so they had some limited pledges, but these ones, like for example, they have none left of this limited quantity. So just want to point out, I don't have a problem, by the way, with limited pledges when it's true. I have a problem when it's a lie that you keep changing the number every single 2 minutes. Either way, Galactic Mayhem over here. This one unfortunately doesn't look like it picked up enough of an audience. The game comes in, you know, you're gonna have pledges for as low as, where's the option over here, for $35 for the basic pledge, moving up quickly if you want more stuff. Although it looks like a lot of the stuff aren't necessarily things you would need. I don't think they're things like, it's not like gameplay all-ins if that's your jam. It's more like extras and art prints and things like that. So not necessarily a more expensive game than you're looking at. If you're looking at the all-in expensive pledges here, you may not care or want that anyway. This is more of an abstract 2-player game with good art, good production, all those things. Haven't played it myself, so I can't comment on the gameplay, but that's going to be Deep 6. Moving on, we have Amsterdam Essential. $13,000 raised, 82 backers, 4 days to go. This is Queen Games doing their trend of taking their, you know, Stefan Feld Deluxe City collections and then taking those and putting them into an Essential Edition, which is slightly more affordable while still being on the expensive side. Amsterdam is going to be a reprint of a reimagination of, not Rialto, or is it Rialto? It might be Rialto. I can't remember. I want to say it's Rialto. There's Bruges, Macau, there we go, Macau, not Rialto. So, Amsterdam's going to be a reimagining of Macau, you know, taking the new city things by Queen Games, and again, this is Essential Edition, so it's not the same level of whatever, but it's a little cheaper. Although you could also get your hands on the Deluxe Edition if you want that, for $129, it's the Amsterdam Deluxe Edition, and look at that, it's a limited edition pledge over here for 8 left out of 45, and over here we have 39 left out of 50, and then we have, like, over there, these are the more expensive versions, these are the placeholders where people can either voluntarily pay more money for, or think that they're getting something more for it even though they're not, while you sit there and have these as the, hey, look how expensive this game is, but look at that, we have 28 left out of 30 over here. Now I will say, whenever it's a nice round number, I do like to look into it and do my research. So I actually looked at Queen Games' past campaigns to double check that these are indeed fake limited pledges as opposed to real limited pledges, and sure enough, if you look at their past campaigns, you can see that most of them are nice round numbers, but the ones that actually got sold suddenly perked their way up to like 190, 185 and all that. So it does seem, even though right now it could theoretically be like, it's the original numbers right now, and they may not change them at all, but it does seem like they are engaging in that little game. So hey, congratulations, Queen Games. I like your games. I like the people that work there, but I do not like this strategy because once again, lying to your backers, willing to adjust and change your lie, change what you're saying consistently as many times as you want in order to create a false sense of limited quantity that is not actually present. So congratulations, you got 2 extra backers. Hope that feels good. I don't like it. I don't like this trend. I'm just going to keep doing this. Amsterdam Essential Edition. That's going to be Amsterdam Essential Edition over here. I do owe them a review of Marrakesh, so there is that. I like the games. I like Stefan Feld's games. They put out good stuff. This is completely unnecessary. It's just not necessary. Like, sometimes it actually has an effect. This was not needed here. Anyways, that's Amsterdam Essential Edition. Moving on, that is the last one today, by the way. That's going to be just 2 today, so that's the good news. The good news is it hasn't completely taken over crowdfunding, and the good news is we go from all of that to a heartwarming tale of Obsession, the characters expansion, with metal coins, from my gosh, what's his name? Dan something or other. Daniel Halligan, not Dan. Daniel Halligan over here. Obsession, coming from Kenta Games. This is Obsession, it's Obsession. It's Obsession. That's what I'm saying over here. 5,000 backers, $189,000, 9 days to go, and a 9 freaking minute long video on the Kickstarter page. Yes, this is a 9-minute video, and yes, if you're looking for a heartwarming tale of caring about others, not taking advantage of others, and being willing to treat your business ethically, and clearly being rewarded for it, we have a 9-minute video that I highly recommend you watch, like the first 3 minutes of it. The first 3 minutes. You don't have to watch everything, but you'll get a good sense of what's going on here. The first thing over here that's worth noting over here, Obsession, $189,000. This could have been a $500,000 campaign or $400,000 campaign. Maybe 500 might be ambitious, I don't know. This could have been a much larger campaign than it is now. The reason it's not is because he's prioritizing the people he works with, and he's not willing to profit off of doing someone a bad turn. That's a good thing. That's very cool. Basically over here, we have Obsession, a very popular game about, well, a little bit of deck building, a little bit of worker placement, set in a, Elizabethan area. I don't know. What do you call this era? What do you call? I don't know what you call it. Obsession. Downton Abbey. It's basically Downton Abbey, the board game. But over here we have the Constable, which is going to be $21 for a bunch of metal coins. We have the Reverend, $28 for a bunch of metal coins, and then we have I know I said that. The Reverend, a $28 for the characters expansion over here. That's their new expansion they have over here, and then we have $39 for both of them together if you want to get both. You'll notice a distinct lack of a base game or any other expansion content. You can't get any of that on this campaign. Why? Because he just sold all his base game stuff to his various retail partners, and he's like, hey, by the way, I don't want to run a campaign where I sell the thing that I just shipped to my retail partners, because that's undercutting them, and that's not cool. And I don't want to undercut people I do business with, because that's just not cool. Why would you ever take advantage of somebody you do business with? And so here's the stuff over here. These are the chunkiest metal coins you'll ever see. This is a cool expansion that also, by the way, seems to have like a co-op mode with a haunted mansion. If you check the updates, I don't know. I'm here for the co-op haunted mansion obsession / Downton Abbey / haunting of House Hill kind of situation going on here. I don't know exactly what's happening. Plus there's cats. There's always cats. But that's going to be basically what's going on with Obsession over here. So a good opportunity to go ahead and get your hands in the game. He's keeping shipping low, by the way. He is subsidizing shipping, trying to keep it as low as possible, because he wants you to get your hands in the game. He wants you to get your hands in the expansion. He wants you to feel like you're not paying $35 to get your hands on a $30 expansion. So I think it was it no more than $15? I don't remember exactly, so I don't want to say for sure, but it was an affordable expansion, and that's basically what's going on. He also has a full video playing through the game if you want to see all the expansion ads over here. Shipping over here. You see the Constable. Coins only $8, $10, $10, keeping prices reasonable on this game. So all in all over here, if you are in any way interested in Obsession, I highly encourage you backing this campaign for the expansion. You'll have to have the base game separately, or you may already have the base game, but I really appreciate the fact that, especially after dealing with this limited pledge stuff, it's nice to see some heartwarming tales of creators and publishers who are sitting there and saying, you know what, screw the FOMO, we're here to actually just put out good games. And yes, crowdfunding, Kickstarter, Gamefound, they're all tools at our disposal to both bring things to life. They're tools for advertising, but we can do so in a way that works with you as a partner as opposed to takes advantage of you. So, Obsession, if you're interested in the game, highly encourage you checking out. It's a well-rated, well-liked game. Very popular, 8.1 on Board Game Geek. It's, the top 100 games of all time. That is a big deal. And yeah, $189,000 on just an expansion where you can't even buy the base game. There's a lot of rules being broken on this crowdfunding campaign, and start with the 9-minute video. Start with that. Moving on over here, we have FlickFleet over on Gamefound. FlickFleet's going to be a box of pirate flicks, 19,000 pounds raised, 188 backers. FlickFleet is a game of dexterity as you flick your fleet around the space battle area, around the galaxy. You flick your feet around the galaxy. Flick your feet. You don't flick your feet. You flick your fleet around the galaxy while you go ahead and try to take down your opponents. You launch missiles through space. You launch your ships through space. The game's been out for a while. It's overall very well rated with a smaller audience. It does not have a large audience. I believe all these games are handmade, if I'm not mistaken. I think everything in FlickFleet is completely handmade. And over here we have the review over here for the game and the box of pirate flicks and the original fleet. All these things over here for that gaming system. They've come up with a bunch of various expansions and modes, and again, it's all handmade. There's a deluxe edition if you want, printed on the various things. Where is the deluxe edition? I can't find it over here. The Pirates Deluxe over here, they have the options with etching with names and details on the ship, which apparently is a much more expensive process or a more time-consuming process. It costs a little more, but hey, you get something a little nicer out of it. That's basically what's going on over here as far as FlickFleet. I want to say FlickFleet. Flick your fleet across the feet. Can't. Anyways, base plus Pirates Deluxe, 119 pounds over here, going to be for all that. Or you could just get the base game over here for 32 pounds if you just want the base game on the cheap, keep it simple, all that. You can get the Pirate Standard for 49 pounds, the base game Deluxe for 45 pounds, the multiplayer bundle standard 64 pounds. So you get all these various options for the game. As far as should you back or should you not, will it hold its value, all of that. Oh, and Obsession, I didn't really do it for Obsession. I didn't do it for Amsterdam Essential. I'm behind in this. Amsterdam Essential, should you back or should you not? Aside from any politics around the limited pledge concept, the Essential Editions for Amsterdam, for America, and all that have done a decent job holding their value. As much as I am loath to say it, the price point over here is not bad, and it may well be one if you're interested in this game. This may well be your cheapest opportunity to get your hands on the Essential Edition. The retail editions of their previous Essential Editions have become more expensive, so it's not the worst price point, although you have to pay shipping as well, so it ends up being like roughly par, but possibly a drop cheaper, and of course probably earlier, who really knows. Then on Obsession over here, it's hard to say for sure. The base game Obsession has regularly been out of print, which is the biggest issue. So Obsession is a game that's regularly out of print, which means getting your hands on the quantity on the stock is always a bit trickier. So I'm not confident this will hold its value. I'm not, but if you do want to get your hands on this sooner rather than later, I think you're getting it at a reasonable price point, at a reasonable shipping cost, and you won't be paying through the nose to get your hands in it. So I'm not confident it'll hold this value. It's the nature of being just an expansion, because it's always harder for expansions to, usually they're being sold to the base game. They're usually hard to track down. But that does mean if you are interested in this, I think I would encourage you to get it, especially to reward the creator, but also I don't think the price point is going to be that out of whack. And on FlickFleet, as far as will hold its value and all that, short version is I'm skeptical it will. FlickFleet in general is a highly rated game, but if you look at the sales on the game, it's not a very popular game. It's a game that has a good rating, and it's a game that has a fan base, but it's not a game that has done tremendously well in the gaming space. It's one of those games that has a audience, but the audience tends to show up in terms of the occasional crowdfunding campaign here and there, as opposed to anything else. Moving on, we have classified information. 2-player deduction small box game. 244 backers, $10,000 raised, 11 days to go. Classified information is a game about deduction. It's a 2-player head-to game of deduction in which you're going to be playing down a card as a briefcase. That card has numbers on it. So, for instance, 7, 8, 9. That's not true. Here we go. 4, 5, 6 is your briefcase over here. But that means that at the end of the game, each player is going to be left with one card. And if your card has one of the codes equal to the briefcase, you break the case. So, for example, if the opposing player had a 4, a 5, or a 6 as their singular card in their hand, then they would be able to break into your briefcase, unless you had a guard in play that guarded that number. So, for example, if you had a guard for a 4, and they had a 4, well, they can't break in with a 4, they can only break in with a 5 or a 6 instead. Combine that with the fact that every single turn you're going to be playing a card for either its Gilded Allegiance, or for its ability, or for just discarding it to keep information secret from your opponent. And there's a lot of tactical players who try to utilize abilities, try to deduce certain things, and basically try to figure out your opponent's briefcase while trying to make sure that yours is as well protected as possible. And then combine that with the fact that there's 3 different sets in the game. So it's an 18-card set, but they have 3 different 18-card sets, giving you different abilities to go ahead and try to mix and match different ways to play through the same core experience, but with different ways that the cards interplay with one another. That's basically the idea of classified information, 2-player deduction game. Oh, and there's a little acquired data with the cipher wheel and all that stuff. As far as the pledge levels, we have $19 over here for the pouch set. That's the basic singular box of the game. And if you want the deluxe edition of the game, that's going to include all 3 in a nice little box as opposed to just the little pouches, that's going to run you $33 for the game. As far as should you back it, should you not, will it hold this value? I'm skeptical it will. The same thing I usually say with small box games. Most of the time when you have a small, cheap game, it is very hard. Once you factor in shipping, once you factor in resell, all that, it's very hard for these things to hold their value. It does fall into the same category as usual, which is this is a very limited, production and everything. So with 244 backers, even if that number doubles by the end of the campaign, there's just not going to be a high degree of wide availability for this game. So if you want this is likely your easiest time to go ahead and get your hands in it, but I am skeptical that it would be one that holds its value. Moving on, we have Villages of the Oak Dell, a roll and write, $9,000 raised, 880 backers, 10 days to go. This is a roll and write that's going to be giving you a Ganchon Clever. That's pretty clever style of chaining various things together as you roll dice, activate the resources, move them further in, activate the resources more and more as you try to build out your little, villages of the Oak and Dell. There's going to be a €5 base game pledge over here for the game. This is a print and play game, it's worth noting. This is not a physical game, so this is not, if you're someone who doesn't end up printing out your games, that's not really something that should interest you. But if you are someone who buys these games, these are usually very affordable ways to get your hands on a variety of print and plays. If you're someone who backs your print and play roll and writes and goes ahead and puts them into a folder and organizes them, you are probably getting a lot of game for a very reasonable price if you do that. And if you don't do that, then it's not for you. Or you could start here. You could always start here. That's a possibility. This could be your first print and play roll and write ever. Or not. €10 for the full game over here. So €10 for the full game is going to give you the additional content being released in December and January. So if you want more content for the game, well, that's your opportunity over here. You'll be getting everything from the base game, plus 4 new maps, each introducing new mechanics to the game, released in December or January. So basically the same core game, but hey, say this map's a little different, and this map has that, and this map has that. You may have done this before. This concept of slight tweaks or whatever it is to a core system has been done, and this is just another instance of it being done. I'm reminded of the fact that I've backed 4 print and play roll and writes, and I've played some of them, but I do not actually print them out. So hey, at least money went to support the creator and all of that. That's basically going to be basically going to be Villages of the Oak and Dell. We also have Adam Kopinski over here, designer of Nemesis Frostpunk, fast and clever roll and write that perfectly captures the vibe of the old video game, The Settlers. So there's some testimonials in here that are more than just your everyday. With Thomas Shepard of Everything Board Games. Some roll and write games are designed well, but only really have one path through the game with limited options. This game felt like a choose your own adventure. That's a big deal over here. Over here we have Inko Hackenberg, who I don't know who, I'm sorry. In the old roll and write sector, it was the Ganchon Clever series that really took these action chains to the extreme for the first time. Villages of the Oak and Dell thrives on exactly these chain reactions. Again, these are solid testimonial. There's another one over here. We have Zaku from Zaku Board Games. Very enjoyable medium weight roll and write game that fits perfectly between Hadrian's Wall and other lighter titles. So again, some solid testimonial as far as the game goes. Comparing it to Ganchon Clever, comparing it to Hadrian's Wall, all those things are great. Now, if only they can put it into a box. Moving on. Oh, and as far as show you back or should not will hold its value, it's a PDF. don't sell it. That's rude. Moving on, we have the Faceless Amusement Park. 326 backers, $39,000 raised, 11 days to go. The Faceless Amusement Park is the first dungeon crawler with a compass and magnets. Now, I will be honest as I go through this campaign over here, I barely understand exactly what's happening here. We have a dungeon crawler. It's from the same creators as the Faceless. And you have these children who are diving once again back into this horrific world. Their tale of horror is not yet done, but now they're in an amusement park over here with this, you know, the monster is back again. Now you have all these students over here, these kids, not students, these kids who have their, like, horrific side and their good side of, you know, the poor innocent child and then the demon within and all that. And there's a whole magnet system as far as how the game operates, which this is the part I do not fully grasp exactly how it works, but basically there's a magnet system where depending on how you have your allegiance to these various children, it will affect the center compass and therefore will affect what's going on in the game. So it incorporates magnets and it incorporates a compass in a way that actually has a consequence on the gameplay in a way that I don't understand. I'd say I don't fully understand, but I think I just straight up don't understand. I mean, I understand that magnets have an effect on compass. I am that far ahead in the conversation. But everything else as far as what's happening here, don't fully understand it. Not against it, just don't fully understand it. As far as the pledge levels, we're going to have over here, we have 89 euro for the base game over here, and then we have 230 euro for the all-in, giving you absolutely everything for the game. Which brings us to the whole should you back, should you not, will it hold its value? If you look at the original campaign, the Faceless, that came out in, I believe, 2018, their original game, that one actually did decently holding its value, although it's hard to say for sure because, first of all, that price point was cheaper, but also the sold values on the Faceless are a little all over the place. So the Faceless is a game that many people got what they wanted back for that one. Many people got what they paid back for it if it wasn't the game for them, and many got less than that. So it is kind of in the middle there. This one is more expensive, which makes sense, honestly. A $59 price point on a miniatures game, it's hard to maintain nowadays. But an 89 euro over here for the game. The game is much more expensive here than it was there. Different games, different time, different place, all that. But combine that with the fact that you have, like, you know, a few hundred people back in the game, and I am skeptical. It could be one of those things where it does, because again, the last game had a mix of values for sure, which does put it a little bit more in a slightly safer value, safer range if you're checking if this is a game for you or not. But again, I'm skeptical overall this one will hold its value. I will say that with 326 backers, it's the usual conversation of it's certainly the easiest way to get your hands on this game as opposed to, you know, anything else. Moving on, we have Ezra and Nehemiah. Ezra and Nehemiah, 2,421 backers, 11 days to go, $184,000 raised. This game, this was not, I mean, a Jerusalem-themed game is not the best time. I have to imagine that at Garfield Games, they had a conversation of, like, do we launch this? Do we not? Like, I have to imagine this is not the best time for this kind of conversation. But that said, this is an ancient anthology game, takes you to ancient Jerusalem, where you're going to be going ahead and trying to teach Torah to various people across 3 weeks, resting on the Shabbat as you, you know, as you should, and not as you should, as like a Jewish religious person, sure, that kind of conversation. But Ezra and Nehemiah is going to be giving you Garfield Games, traditional, you know, Euro chaining mechanisms, all the things that have made them an incredibly popular game publisher, with a very different and unique theme that is inherently going to be polarizing. Inherently, like, it's something, it's so fascinating. Like, if you look on Board Game Geek, there's already a person who, like, gave this game a 1 because it's like religious theme, not interested, which is so fascinating and divisive. Like, we have themes about everything. I mean, even today we'd have, like, we have themes about everything in any way, shape, or form that are absolutely bizarre, and like religion is a divisive subject, and it is. I'm not saying that I understand why religion is a divisive subject. Like, religion is one of those things that's both been a tremendous source of good in the world and also a tremendous source of, like, let's kill other people because of it in the world. So, like, religion is very much a hard conversation. Like, it's very, very polarizing, and I get it. I'm not even saying that I resent the person who gave it a 1. I do resent them for giving it a 1 because, like, I don't go around rating themes that I don't like with 1s because that's not like how game rating should work. So I resent him from the practical stance of how a system should work. Like the people on Amazon who rate like a product because, like, 1 star out of 5, shipper sent the game late. Like, that's not a bad toaster because somebody rated the product a 1 star out of 5. That's not how ratings work. Have some intellectual integrity about the nature of providing a service for the people that come after you to see if it's a good toaster. Because now they think it's a bad toaster and you're just an idiot. So I resent that part of the conversation. But past that, I do get the polarizing nature of a religious-themed game. On my end, selfishly, I think there's very few good religious-themed games. There's Gollum. That's kind of it. I mean, the other ones, there are some decent ones, but as far as good ones, it's basically just Gollum. So I'm happy to have another one personally and selfishly, but that doesn't mean that you have to be. Anyways, that's going to be a religious-themed game from Garfield Games, taking their combination of general Euro mechanisms that tends to work very well. Brothers Murph cover this. Others have a million other channels, but if you want to see how this game plays or see gameplays or any of this stuff, there's a ton of content out there. From what I can see and gather, it takes some of the core elements that have made Garfield Games, you know, their mechanisms, and it seems to having pulling parts from various other games while having very much its own flavor and type to it as well. Speaking as somebody who has generally bounced off Garfield Games, like I have found that Hadrian's Wall I love, but like the rest didn't really work for me until recently playing Wayfarers of the South Tigris. I love that one. Like I am here for Wayfarers. So for me, I'm definitely interested, definitely intrigued. I'll probably pick this one up in retail, which brings us to the price levels. Price levels over here are going to be run you for, it's going to be $44 for the base game over here. It's going to run you $44 for the base game in different languages as well. By the way, worth noting, there's no pledge manager, so if you're waiting around for the pledge manager, don't. Then there's also pledge levels that give you the coins as well. So if you want the coins, it's going to run you around $59 for the coins. And then the problem and the thing that makes me bounce off of crowdfunding over here is shipping is going to run me about $20. So if I want the base game, it's going to be $64 to get my hands on the base game. And if I wait till it shows up at miniature market, it'll probably run me about like $37, and then I'll, you know, get $100 shipping, whatever it is. So the problem with Garfield games in general is the fact that usually the main reason to get them is you want the extras. They have a promo pack, they have some extra coins, you can buy the extra coins, they are not free, but if you want some of those extras over here, getting them on crowdfunding is definitely a good thing to do to get those extras, as well as of course support the creator. And credit to Garfield Games, they don't engage in any of the FOMO stuff. They're kind of like, hey, we're here, we're making these games, we hope you support it and bring it to life, and we appreciate when you do. And if you want to buy it at retail, good, do that too. That's also supporting us. So there's no FOMO here. The inherent trade-off of crowdfunding is either you have to introduce some element of FOMO, ideally without lying to your customers while not also providing them with no benefit whatsoever, but you want to provide some element of FOMO. Here's an exclusive, here's a better price point, here's a get it faster than other people. All those are some degree of an incentive to get it on crowdfunding, and when you don't, you just have to rely on the goodwill of the people coming behind you or how good your own reputation is. And for Garfield Games, they just have a good reputation, and so they've been able to do this where they sit there and they say, no FOMO. Buy it now, buy it later, whatever works for you. And that means people who want to get these games that don't have the same pricing availability can get these games, and people who want to get it at retail can get it at retail. Those are all valid options over here. So that's going to be Ezra and Nehemiah. As far as should you back, should you not, will it hold its value? If you're a US-based person, almost certainly it won't, but if you do want some of the coins and extras, it might be worth it, or if you do want to support the creator, go for that as well. But that is going to be Ezra and Nehemiah from Garfield Games. Moving on over here, and then, by the way, most people are going to say Ezra and Nehemiah. The hard is because it says Nehemiah over here, but like from a pure biblical stance, it's Nehemiah with the guttural ch. So if you want to impress your friends, practice that ch a lot, and then you can be like, oh yeah, we're playing Ezra and Nehemiah with challah. And I should have prepared more cha words. There's so many cha words, but I don't like have them in my vocabulary at the moment offhand. But it's Nehemiah. Nehemiah. Anyways, you could just say Nehemiah, it's totally cool. Moving on over here, we have Gnomes and Wizards relaunch. $8,660, 94 backers, 14 days to go. Gnomes and Wizards is going to be a game coming from Bobby Powell. This is a follow-up to Gnomes and Wizards, shockingly enough. This is going to be bringing you content for the game. It's a Battle Royale style game. It's going to be giving you more factions. It's going to be bringing you Deluxe 5 tokens. But the basic idea, oh, and regular disclaimer, when relevant that is, but Board Game Co. did do paid coverage on this game. Please take that into account. But Gnomes and Wizards over here, Gnomes and Wizards is a Battle Royale style game for like up to 6 players, 8 players, not sure that I think it's up to 6 players if I'm not mistaken, in which you're going to be trying to unlock your various tribes and factions to be able to get more abilities, all while the map slowly starts shrinking around you until eventually you're all at each other's throats, slowly trying to take each other out across 10 rounds of play. That's the basic idea of the game. Lots of powers, lots of abilities. You're going to be trying to gather gems and crystals and use them to power up all the various cards at play, and that is Gnomes and Wizards. The pledges are going to run you $49 for the standard edition of the game, $64 for the standard edition plus the power crystals, and then you have $74 for the Kickstarter limited edition of the game. And then we have the all-in Kickstarter limited edition plus power crystals for $89. As far as should you back it, should you not, will it hold its value? Same problem with many of these. I think the price point of this and the demand of this, I don't think it's one that's going to hold its value. Unfortunately, it does, like others, fall into that category of with 94 backers, this is one that you're likely not going to be able to track this one down as easily on the secondhand market just because there's not a ton of availability for the game. So I'm skeptical it holds its value, but it is one that if you want to get it, crowdfunding is probably your best chance to do so. Moving on, we have Dice Throne, X-Men, Marvel Missions Co-op, and Deadpool. This is one of 2 games we're covering today that will hopefully get a dedicated Should You Back video before the end of the campaign. Hopefully. We'll see what happens, but I plan on it. As of right now, I plan on doing a Should You Back It for Dice Throne in the last like 4 or 5 days of the campaign. So if you want a whole thing there, I'll go over all the stretch goals, I'll go over the stuff, but today I'm going to keep it brief and to the point because we are already 33 minutes into the video we still have like 6 to go, 7 to go, something like that. So like there's still time. Take a breather, grab your phone, grab a coffee. I should have grabbed a seltzer. I had this seltzer earlier. This is a black cherry vanilla seltzer, by the way. I really like it. I find this not like in any way sponsored or advertised by Polar. I mean, reach out to me, I'll do it. But this is a black cherry vanilla seltzer, which I thought was really, really well done. Like one of my favorite sodas I ever had was Coke's black cherry vanilla. Like I love that. And this is black cherry vanilla seltzer, so it's all the flavor, most of the flavor, with none of the calories. And it comes in like a kind of annoying can. Actually, I don't like these cans because I don't know, I just don't like these cans as much, but that's a separate conversation. I also like coconut seltzer. I find coconut seltzer has a nice subtle taste to it. I like coconut flavors in general. Like Almond Joys are amazing. I don't know if you've ever had an Almond Joy. They are so ridiculously good. One of my best chocolate bars from Hershey's is definitely an Almond Joy. I like the flavor of almond, the texture of almond too, depending on what you did. Do you know Cleveland's favorites for something that's called a, oh my gosh, Cleveland has like coconut bars. There's a name for them, I can't remember, but they're very good. But it's a Cleveland thing. It's not like a whole world thing. But I was recently in Portland, and apparently they have something called like a maple bar. Do you know what a maple bar is? It's like basically like a donut. That's a bar, but it has like maple on top. I mean maple like flavoring. It's basically like a donut. That's all it is. But it's like a unique region-based dessert. Which is, I mean, that's a delightful concept, region-based desserts. Anyways, moving on over here, we have Dice Throne, X-Men, Marvel Missions, Co-op, and Deadpool. This is Dice Throne with all the things I just told you in the title. So first of all, what is Dice Throne? Dice Throne is a Yahtzee-style, head-to-head, battle-style game, in which you're going to have players going head-to-head in a battle-style game as they try to, attack each other by rolling dice and activating abilities and Yahtzee-style dice. So you have to roll dice, roll them again, and roll them again. That's the core concept. There's Season 1, there's Season 2, and there's Dice Throne Marvel. So 24 characters, plus Santa and Krampus. So 26 characters out there in existence in the wilds, which is more than you'll ever need because while the game is fun, I like the game, I will say that the character variety is not high enough. The way the games are built out, there's not nearly enough justification for owning 26 characters. I just don't think there's enough ways to make the characters genuinely feel different within the game. I don't think, I mean, again, I've played a lot of the characters. Some feel more different than others, and a lot feel like they hit the same notes. I don't think 26 characters is necessary. But from there, we have this campaign over here. This campaign is bringing you a few things. First of all, it's bringing you 8 more characters. Nine more characters. Bringing you 9 more characters. We have a full battle box for X-Men. So if you want to see Jean Grey, if you want to see Wolverine and Psylocke and Gambit and all these various characters over here, that's only 4 I know, but there's 4 more. There's Rogue and the other characters I don't remember offhand, but there's 8 characters in the game that are going to be the various X-Men characters, and then there's a separate character box for Deadpool on his own. Those are the new characters you're going to be introduced into in this campaign. But you also have Marvel missions over here. So you have Dice Throne missions, Dice Throne Marvel missions, which is basically a way of going through currently, well that's not true currently, I was going to say 12, but currently, it's called currently. Currently there are 12 missions to go through in the campaign. They are quick, easy to pull out, you can go ahead and go through them, you can pick whatever Dice Throne characters you want, you can dive into some sort of combat against them. The whole system is very smooth. We'll have a game. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to do this part. This is so this is important actually. It's important, but basically, the Dice Throne missions. If you've seen, let's take a step back. I need to like reorient myself. I apologize. Dice Throne missions over here. Board Game Co. is doing some sponsored content around the game. We did a non-sponsored gameplay of Wolverine versus Psylocke, and in that video, I don't say that we're doing any sponsored content because at the time I didn't know that we were doing sponsored content, but after that, we are doing some sponsored content around Marvel Dice Throne missions, so there will be a sponsored playthrough around Marvel Dice Throne missions. Please take that into account as we go through the game. But back to where I was rambling off over here. I've enjoyed the game. I realized because I was giving an opinion, and then as soon as I was giving an opinion, I was like, I have to give a disclaimer, so that's why I kind of interrupted my sentence there. But I enjoy the game. Dice Throne missions over here is likely my favorite way to play through Dice Throne missions, to play through Dice Throne in general. I will say I've not played through Dice Throne Adventures yet, so I'm not including that, but I'm saying head-to-head Dice Throne versus cooperative Dice Throne missions. Easily Dice Throne missions was so much more enjoyable and fun, while still being challenging as you went through it, and I definitely want to go through it, including with my Dice Throne Season 1 and Season 2, to play my fantasy characters against, you know, taking down Ultron or whatever. Speaking of Ultron over here, when I say it's 12-ish missions, but not really, that's because the stretch goals on the campaign have already unlocked more characters. Over here, if we scroll down to the stretch goals, because there's so much content in the game, I'll be doing a dedicated full should you back it on this video. Otherwise, just, you know, just look at the eye candy, just scrolling rapidly past you over here. You can go to the campaign page. You can see a bunch of things. We will talk about the pledge levels and all that. But over here, we have all these stretch goals over here unlocked. We have a metal curmudgeon token, a translucent acrylic FX. So they're basically making some of these things cooler. But they're giving you more missions. So far we have Sauron, we have a Green Goblin, and we have a Shield Captain America and Ultra. And that's 4 missions already unlocked. And that's 8 stretch goals. We have 26 total stretch goals coming, and 4 of those are already missions out of 8. Those are good numbers. Like if that holds up, you're going to have like more than 20 missions, maybe 24, 30, I don't know how many missions there are, but the more the better, because my one critique of the mission system, not really a critique so much, but like, the one thing is, I think that I wouldn't want to replay them that much. So like, I think I would, oh, we have Professor X and Archangel. No, these are, wait, what? These are allies for the missions? This is 4 missions. Oh, I'm sorry. Not all of these were actually, missions. We have Ultron is a mission, and it's 4 missions. We have Green Goblin is a mission, so I need to pay attention to this more. And Sauron is a mission, so 3 of the 8 currently. Still looks good. But anyways, past that, the basic gameplay system, 4 missions, I enjoy. My only critique is I don't think I'd want to play them that frequently, the same ones. So like, I might want to play against Ultron today, and then maybe a year and a half from now I'll play from Ultron again. So if they have 12, that's okay. I wish they had more, and it seems like they're having more, which is a big part. So I'm very happy about the fact that they have more missions. I hope they continue to unlock. All these other things are nice. For me, the biggest thing is I hope they continue to just add as many missions as possible to the system. Past that, as far as the pledge level, let's go ahead and scroll back up just a drop so you can see all of these over here. We have, is this the missions over here? Is this where we're at? Nope, maybe. I don't know. There's all these add-ons and stretch goals and things and stuff. Over here, we have the new gameplay. Nope, no, the skipping stuff. Skipping, let's go to the sidebar. We have Deadpool Deluxe over here. For $25, we have Deadpool as a deluxe set. Now, one of the big complaints that I've seen from people, and I think it's a reasonable complaint, I also understand why they're doing it, but Deadpool does not come in any other set. There's no way to get Deadpool without all the extras. Deadpool comes in a closed solo box on his own, deluxe content included, including the miniature, which is amazing, by the way. The miniature for Deadpool is amazing, but it's kind of like more expensive because right now the pledge levels run you $100 or $60 for Marvel Dice Stone missions. So that's $60 for the missions over here. You have $99 for the limited edition X-Men Battle Chest, and this stuff is going to come with promo, so you're going to get a free promo pack. That's $100 for 8 characters or $25 for 1. That math is bad. That's twice as much for 1, but part of that is you're getting the sleeves, you're getting the miniature, you're getting all the things that you may or may not want because that's how they're packaging it and that's how they're selling it. So I understand the frustration, but that's how it's happening, unfortunately. We have Limited Edition X-Men Battle Chest over here for $99. We have the new gameplay for $169. That's going to give you missions, it's going to give you X-Men, and it's going to give you Deadpool for $169, which gives you some degree of savings because, think about it this way, Dice Stone over here is $99, and then we have $6 for missions, which means Deadpool is only $9 if you get all of it. Which is I mean, you're lying to yourself, but hey, it's girl math, it works. Then moving on from there, we have the Marvel Gameplay Bundle for $259 if you want the Marvel set as well. This is not necessary for you if you already got Marvel Dice Throne. And we have all the new things for $449, and Marvel All In for $599. That little asterisk is because playmats are not included, so it's not actually all the new things, it's like most of the new things that matter, but that's a longer title and less catchy than all the new things, so all the new things asterisk is better. Honestly, I don't blame them here. I mean, as much as I would give people a hard time for calling an all-in pledge an all-in pledge when it's not an all-in pledge, the reason they're doing it here, I assume, is because the playmats, the way they structure the playmats, now we scroll too far, the reason they structured it here this way is because they have a playmat for every single possible hero. So every all 16 of the heroes, plus a few generic ones, have a possible playmat. That is a lot of playmats. Most people don't want or need that many playmats. But if you either sell 2 playmats and then include them in the all-in pledge, or you sell all the playmats and then tell people, hey, if you really want to pay like $20 a playmat, I think it is, $20 a playmat, if you really want to pay $20 a playmat, feel free to get all of them. We're happy that you do, because we're selling things and that's good money. But we also recognize that most of you are not crazy. So we're going to, like, you'll buy 2, 3, 4, your favorite. You'll grab Psylocke and it's a little bit of Storm. Obviously you're going to take Deadpool. Deadpool should be in his own pack. Why doesn't Deadpool get... I guess that would make the price more expensive. Fine, never mind. But yeah, so I understand why they're doing it. I also understand frustration around that too, if there is any. I actually haven't seen a frustration around that. But that's basically... But past that, you're getting all the other stuff. You're getting collapsible dice trays. You're getting all the miniatures, because a big part of it as well, a big part of that extra cost, if you're like, wow, it's $449 for everything new. Well, yeah, you're getting, you know, all the stuff over there. You're getting 2 miniature packs. You're getting... Here we go. We have Deadpool box, card sleeves, Marvel Dice Stone, all the... That's 2. We have acrylic tokens over here. So we have acrylic tokens. We have Marvel plus X-Men plus missions. That's 55 plus 40 plus 40 worth of acrylic tokens. Do you need any of that stuff? No. Is it cool? It's fun. The acrylic tokens are nice. I have some of the acrylic tokens for Season 1 and Season 2. I don't have any of this stuff over here, so it's cool. You don't need it. We have premium card sleeves for all the stuff, which again, premium card sleeves, at that point, I do like the premium card sleeves, but I'd probably just like use my own, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. I do like them, but they're not amazing. They're not essential. Then we have the promo pack over here. We have the collapsible dice tray. So all these various things going on, which brings us to our should you back it, because there's a whole lot of content. And again, I will do a full should you back it on this video. But as far as should you back it, should you not, the short version is kind of yes if you're interested, but also be mindful of how much money there is to spend, because this stuff is expensive, and spending $600 in Dice Throne seems like it's a mistake, says the guy who spent like more than that on Marvel United, but doesn't regret it at all. But that's really what it comes down to. If you're looking for whether it'll hold this value, whether or not, that $25 box for Dice Throne for Deadpool, it's going to hold this value just fine. Check out that Krampus and, what's it called? Santa and Krampus. That thing's hard to get your hands on. People will sell that thing for like $100 on eBay. So it's going to hold this value just fine on the Deadpool Deluxe. So if you want it, may as well get it now. Similarly with Marvel Dice Throne missions. Generally, sorry, not that one. Similarly with the limited edition X-Men Battle Chest. If you look at their various battle chests in general, they are usually not that cheap. They're hard to get your hands on it. Over here, you're going to be paying, and the shipping on this, by the way, is not unreasonable either. The shipping prices on this campaign don't seem unreasonable either, and so you're basically paying what you would anyways pay to get your hands on it later, but you're getting those extra promos as well. You're getting the free promo pack as well, so you're kind of paying the price now, getting the free promo pack, which tends to be worth it. As far as holding its value, the Dice Throne universe generally has done a good job holding its value. If you are going all in on stuff that's more than gameplay, the new gameplay, I think it's totally fine. The Marvel gameplay bundle, I think it's fine. These will all, none of these are amazing prices. If you want to wait, you'll pay a little bit more for it. So it's not like essential at all. You can totally skip on this stuff, and you will not be majorly penalized for it. Maybe the Deadpool one. The Deadpool one might be a bit of a pain. But past that, as far as all the new things, you're starting to get a bunch of stuff that tends to be a little harder to, hold this value once you start throwing all the extra stuff in, but you do save money, so you're getting all these extra premium perks, things, whatever, but selling acrylic tokens, selling the sleeves, getting all your money back for that stuff, that's where it can be a bit harder. You definitely can get money back on these all-in pledges, but it tends to be a bit more work, so I think all the pledges will hold their value. I think once you get to all the new things and higher, it starts to be a bit more work to get that back. So doable, but more work. But yeah, this stuff will hold its value. Marvel Dice Throne in general has been an incredibly successful line, as you can see from the $2.3 million Kickstarter campaign that will almost certainly cross $3 million, likely get to like 3.4, 3.5 as they continue to add things to the campaign. This is I bet they're happy with this one because it's doing very well. Moving on, we have Cryptid Cafe, The Chef's Apprentice, 297 backers, $16,000 raised. We spent way too much time on that last campaign. I'm running out of time. This is a problem. We have Cryptid Cafe, The Chef's Apprentice, 297 backers, 16 days to go from Squashy Games over here. This is the game that takes place in the universe of Cryptid Cafe, but this is one in which you're going to be gathering cards from a card row, trying to put them into your own little grid over here. So place them into, I believe, a 4x4 grid, if I'm not mistaken. You can go ahead and put tokens on those various cards when you need to modify things, because you're going for certain goals. You have public goals that are going to be in place that you're trying to accomplish those goals as you place them into your grid. So basically any point scoring optimization style game, but you can also modify those tokens, which kind of reminds me of, oh my gosh, what's the game, not Cartographers, it was something, Stone Spine Architects from Thunderworks Games has a similar system to that's going on. You have a grid of cards, you have tokens that overlay, things like that going on in the game. It's going to run you $39 for the game. That's basically it. Then we have $51 for the Christmas dinner game. So it gives you it gives you like 84 cards that are extra cards to give you like Christmas themed recipe cards. We have Trick or Treating, which again, 84 cards that are trick-or-treating that are Halloween themed cards, and then $60 for both. If you want both those over there, it's going to run you $60. You can buy them individually as well as add-ons, all that, but $60 to get your hands on all of that. As far as should you back or should you not, will hold its value. A short version is probably not. Looking at their game historically, their last game didn't do that great as far as holding its value. This one is probably in the same category, although it is probably the easiest way to get your hands on it because of the fact that, as they point out themselves, this game's not going to have a wide retail availability. This is a game that's going to live on crowdfunding and have an audience in crowdfunding, so if you do want this game, it's likely the easiest way to get your hands on it and guarantee it, while also being a game that probably will not hold its value if it's a game that does not work for you. Then we have The Witcher, Path of Destiny, and before we dive into this one, let's just talk about one thing which I don't recall if I mentioned yet, but the very short version is The Witcher Path of Destiny from Go On Board. They put out a whole marketing thing of about The Witcher Path of Destiny, of which I was in it, both giving a testimonial as someone who played it and as somebody who worked for Gamefound, as CMO of Gamefound. I was in that as well, and there were some people on I think it was on Reddit if I'm not mistaken, who were upset about that, and I think that's completely legitimate and fair. I didn't control the editing of that video. I did not have an opportunity to say that to give disclaimers. I like to give the disclaimers of, hey, I work for Gamefound, take that into account. This is a big deal for Gamefound, The Witcher, Go On Board, all that stuff. These are relevant things. So, reminder, I work for Gamefound, and to anyone who's upset by that, I apologize. I get it. I was not in control of the editing of that video. I will note, I believe Go On Board also understood what you're saying, because if you look down here at the testimonials, it's very, let's go to testimonials over here. Is it over here? I don't even know where the testimonials are. They should Go On Board. You got to put a testimonial thing down here. This would be a nice. There we go. Over here, they put CMO of Gamefound over here. So I think they saw the threads too and they got it, which good. Feedback is a good thing. Past that though, going into the game itself, The Witcher Path of Destiny. Oh, and by the way, I will have content on the game, not paid content, although I do work for Gamefound, take that into account, but I will have completely unpaid, not sponsored content coming on the game. Just my coverage is late. I'm just not, I'll have it before the campaign's over. We'll be fine. We'll be good. It's all good. The Witcher Path of Destiny from Go on board. 16 days left. 23,000 backers. This is another game that I will probably have a dedicated should you back it. And yes, I'll have like disclaimers in the beginning as well. We have $2 million raised. We have all those fun things. And The Witcher Path of Destiny has nothing to do with the Witcher Old World, which I guess is a lie. It has something to do with the Witcher Old World. They both take place in the Witcher universe, and they both from Go on board. But the gameplays are completely separate. There's nothing similar. Just two different game systems within the Witcher universe. The Witcher Go on Board is an adventure game that I love, by the way. Did I say The Witcher Go on Board? If I said that, I apologize. I'm hearing myself and I'm not sure. The Witcher Old World is a game that I very much enjoy. It's an adventure game system, lots of fun. I do think it's best at 2 or 3 players. Once you go higher than that, it's a little much as far as the player count. But The Witcher Path of Destiny is a very different system that actually arguably works better at higher player counts. This is a game which you're going to be going through the various adventures in the Witcher universe. They're going to have a bunch of adventures. I believe the base game comes with 3. I believe they've already unlocked more than that. And again, I'll be doing a full dedicated should you back it. So if you want more information, that will be in that video coming towards the end of the campaign. In those last few days of the campaign, I'll do a video on that. But over here, the core box has 3 stories. Each story has 8 story arcs. And in each story, you're basically trying to battle for what decision gets made as a group. So you sit there, you're faced with one of these classic stories. You take down the Striga, or do you take down the Striga? What actually happened between you and the Striga as you take on the role of the Witcher, of Yennefer, of Dandelion, of all the various characters in the game, and you sit there and try to control the outcome of the path. Players are trying to kind of buy into the path while trying to make their stake and trying to play cards and abilities that mess with the actual symbology at play, and then that leads them down to a choice, and then another choice, and another choice. 3 branching choices, which if you do math basically means it's 2 to the square root of 2 to 3, 2 to the root power of 3. I can't remember how to say it. I've lost all track of that stuff. But basically, so it's 2 times 2 times 2, which is a total of 8 different possible endings in the game. That's the basic idea of the game as far as what the game system is doing. They also have a whole bunch of stretch goals. Go to the stretch goals because some of the stretch goals actually have some cool things that are being unlocked. So let's go through those quickly for what we have for right now. We have more characters for the game. Oh, it's not going to be quickly. We have more characters for the game. We have solo upgrade stuff. So the base game has the Witcher, Geralt of Rivia. Geralt as a solo character, but we have more characters that can be played solo, that are given as stretch goals. We have the Edge of the World. This is basically going to be various envelopes for these scenarios that are going on. So we have the Striga, we have Edge of the World, and we have Lesser Evil. And these give you kind of like unlockable content once you've unlocked all 8 story endings. So it gives you a reason to play through it. So that can be 24 games of The Witcher Old World, or you could just like open the envelope. You could do that. No one's looking. No one's going to tell. I mean, your friends might judge you. They played the game with you. They know you didn't play all, but you could lie. You could say I have another game group. You could say I played it with them, and then they'll never know. They'll never know. Why would they know? Who's going to know? Who's going to know? Move on. The Grain of Truth. We have the Grain of Truth over here, so there's going to be a new, not really an expansion story over here. At least I don't believe so. Wait, is it? It is Mysteries of Neverland. This was a half man, half beast. Oh, it is a brand new story. This is a brand new story in the Witcher universe, so it is. It is a full story over here. Then we have the solo upgrade mode over here. This is going to be the Striga solo mode. So they have more upgrades over here. A Grain of Truth, new mission cards. We have a solo mode for Triss, that character unlocked. We have a miniature for Nivellen. We have quality upgrade on the cards. We have a token organizer. We have more solo upgrades. We have a new playable character of Letho over here. And again, some more content over there. We have Grain of Truth, Reason of Envelope. That's the whole envelope concept that your friends. That's 32 missions now. It's a lot, but they'll never know. We have the new tale over here as well. The new tale of the Skellig over here. We have the 5 notebooks and pencils, the upgrades to upgrade pack. We have a new player character, Yarpin, as well. We have 3 Lesser Evil 3 miniatures over here. We have Grain of Truth metal coin. So all these things being unlocked. And then we have Geralt on Roach, which was a campaign stuff. If you've backed in the first 24 hours or whatever, you got that. Otherwise, you do have to pay $12 for it. You don't need it. It's nice. It is. I get it. But you don't need it. Don't like spend $12 on one miniature unless you like really want him. But like keep in mind, like it means all your other characters are going to be like completely intimidated by Geralt, which is just not cool at all. Unless you want to put it on your shelf behind you. That's a different story. It is cool, but you don't need it. As far as the pledge levels over here, we have a few pledge levels. Let's go to the reward tiers. We have $85 for the Deluxe pledge. It's going to be giving you all the various miniatures and dual layer player boards and all those extras. Or we have $55 for the standard version of the game. That's going to be what you have over here. As far as should you back or should you not, will hold its value. I mean, the standard version is always a little hard to gauge because those things are at retail, and then they'll have, retail pricing, so it may not hold its value. But that Deluxe pledge over there, with 22,000 people backing it, that one's going to hold its value just fine. The Witcher is a popular IP. If you look for The Witcher Old World, that game sells for ridiculous numbers. And they've said, by the way, they have in the FAQ that people have been asking them for, like, can you buy The Witcher Old World? And they're like, hey, this was not in our plans. We're going to see what we can do. just hold your breath and wait, and we'll see. Like, basically, which is a fair answer, by the way. It's a fair answer to say, you know, like, giant decisions that involve having to figure out what we're going to do as far as whatever, we need a little bit of time to figure that out. So, whether The Witcher Old World will be available in this campaign, no idea. Whether they do a relaunch campaign for The Witcher Old World, no idea. But, I can tell you that The Witcher Old World is doing a just fine job holding its value overall, and I think that's likely going to be true for The Witcher Path of Destiny as well. It's a popular IP. I've played the game. I think it's a very good game. I don't like it as much as The Witcher Old World. The Witcher Old World is like the best in class like adventure game for me, but this over here is still a very solid game. I think a lot of people like it, and I think it is easier to table and at higher player counts than The Witcher Old World. So that's gonna be The Witcher Path of Destiny. I think it'll hold its value for sure if you're going for the deluxe stuff, and then lots of things being unlocked away. And again, in the last days of the campaign, we will have a full should you back it on this game. Then we have the Fall of Lumen. 394 backers, $20,000 raised, 18 days to go. The Fall of Lumen is coming to you from Toy Games, who previously did Legends of Void, which is basically Terraforming Mars. Like, I covered Legends of Void, and I knew it had similarities to Terraforming Mars. I don't think I realized at the time that it's basically Terraforming Mars. Like, it's not like similarities. It's like, hey, let's take the system, let's put the fantasy system onto it, and make some small tweaks. What's fascinating is Legends of Void has some polarizing ratings. Overall, it's rated pretty well, but like, people are either like, this is Terraforming Mars, but better. Or people are like, this is Terraforming Mars, but so much more restrictive and worse, and I don't know why you'd ever play it. So there's like two camps of people, all of them comparing to Terraforming Mars. Some like it more, some like it less. As somebody who likes Terraforming Mars, that means I should try it at some point and expect to either be disappointed or wowed, and I don't know which way that's going to go. I just don't know. It's an interesting conversation for a different day. This, on the other hand, is Fall of Lumen, which it did make me look at the game over here. This is a deck building system. You can be drafting cards from Open Tableau, playing the cards, either discarding them for one-time use, you know, getting the resources, or putting or utilizing them for their actual abilities, all that. The game looks very, very fun without me understanding past, like, I mean, I understand the basis of the game, but like, is it good? I have no idea. It looks fun. Artwork looks good. I will say it is, you know, AI helped art. If you look at the little disclaimer down here at the bottom over here, they have that whole disclaimer. Was it created with AI? They say, and this is just, I'm just reading what they said over here, that we put our own sketches into an AI thing and have them tweak them, and then we, you know, tweak the final images. So it's their sketches, AI, their tweaks. Makes sense. Whether it's true or not, I have no idea. I am ill-informed on the way to establish or confirm that. That's going to be Fall of Lumen over here. It's a deck building system. It looks cool, and that's where we are on this one. As far as should you back or should you not, we have a €59 pledge for the keeper pledge over here, and then we have a you know, retailer pledge as well. So basically, your only option is that €59 pledge plus, of course, shipping. As far as should you back or should you not will hold its value, my instinct would be to say no on this. I would instinctively say no. But if you look at Legends of Void, that's more in the mix. Legends of Void definitely had a mix of some holding its value, some not. And if that holds true for this one as well, well, this could be in the middle as well. I don't know if it will or won't though. If Legends of Void is not that popular, I mean, they're similar in terms of popular in the crowdfunding campaign. To me, I would normally say this would not hold its value just based on, you know, the price point for the game, the fact that it's not doing anything amazing, and the fact that there's a limited degree of audience. That usually means this would not hold its value. But again, Legends of Void did, so put me in the I think not, but also, well, Legends of Void did, not Legends of Void did. Legends of Void was mixed, so put me into the camp of being completely uncertain as far as where this one will end up, and you're definitely taking a risk if you back this one. We have the Red Dragon Inn allies, Melvyn versus Marah. We have 1,953 backers for 2 allies for the Red Dragon Inn system, which is a very loved, very popular system from Slugfest Games over here. And so we have over here, we have 2 allies. I mean, I don't know how much to go into this one. We have a pledge level for $25, and we have a $60 newcomer edition as well. I don't think there's a ton. This is 2 new characters for the original Red Dragon Inn, and you can jump into the game now and see if it's for you, and you just have 2 new characters, so not bad. But yeah, that's basically going to be the Red Dragon Inn over here, so not a ton of information because it's just a character pack, but a character pack that, because of how popular the game is, has still done very well for itself. Then over at Backit, we have really good games, $191,000 raised, 2,300 backers, 20 days left to go, and this is Molly House. There's a lot of content in this game, you can check this one out, but Molly House is going to be from the Whirly Games. It's the Cole Whirly. He's done, oh my gosh, St. John's? No, something John. He's done what did he get? The John Company. PAX Premier and John Company. But either way, this is going to be Molly House, a game about Molly Houses in, I think, London, if I'm not mistaken. It's going to be within the Molly House, I think it was London, if I'm not mistaken. 18th century London. 18th century London, you're going to be taking the role of characters who are going to the Molly House, who are potentially, you know, trying to not be in, like, there's a whole bunch of interesting mechanisms going on, because you're all in this Molly House situation where you're not supposed to be in, so there's all these informants, and so you could become an informer on your own people. You have all these cards in the hand, you're trying to play these cards, that depending on whether you get the, I don't know exactly what the criteria is for the cards, but whenever you play these cards to accomplish certain goals, one set will go to the actual pile, the other's going to be added to the gossip pile, and can slowly lead to the ruin of the house. So there's an interesting mechanisms in play as far as what you're trying to do, how you're trying to keep the house undercover, while also understanding that as you make different decisions in the game, you're slowly leading to the house being discovered, at which point you may want to turn into an informant, but you want to make sure that the players don't realize that. So it's not really a hidden role game so much as the hand of the cards. They have a cute little line about, you know, your gender is as fluid as your hand of cards or something along those lines. But either way, that's going to be Molly House over here from Really Good Games over on BackKit with 2,300 backers, $191,000 raised. As far as should you back it, should you not, will it hold its value? Hard to say on this one for sure. I think instinctively it likely will, because of the fact that their games in the past have generally had a very low retail availability, and their games generally have done a decent job holding their value because they are well-liked games. This one definitely seems to be less popular than some of their past games, so that's the only asterisk there. In general, it's like if you look at St. John's, if you look at John Company seems to have done like double the funding of this one. Even if you look at where the campaign was at any given point, John Company is just much more popular. So even though it's less popular than John Company, I think it's popular enough. This is more akin to PAX Premier, one of their earlier games on crowdfunding. So I think it's still popular enough that I think it will hold its value overall. And that's going to be Molly House over on BackKit. Then we have over here the Morrison Game Factory, a puzzle tale. 1,359 backers, $52,000 raised, 25 days to go. The Morrison Game Factory is the newest puzzle game coming to you from Post Curious. This one being a little lighter and a little shorter than some of the stuff they've put out in the past. They've done Emerald Flame, which I've played and I think is amazing. And over here, Post Curious, the Morrison Game Factory is a shorter game that is a little bit on the lighter side while not being light by any means. It's still supposed to be a fantastic puzzle. There's a lot of content on the game. You can check that out. You can get a sense or feel, be either based on opinions or watch people play to some extent to see if this game is for you. But it's basically an escape room in a box. That's what it is. It's kind of like a unlock game, but instead of being like one unlock game, it's like the time length of 3 or 4 unlock games and the price point of 3 or 4 unlock games. Speaking of price point over here, we have $39 for the game. That's basically what it's going to be. $39 plus shipping to get your hands in it. This is cheaper than some of the other games. Like Emerald Flame was like $79, something like that, but Emerald Flame has like 7 or 8 hours of content, so that checks out. That whole ratio checks out as far as the content versus the price of the game. As far as should you back or should you not, will hold its value. You can skip on it if you want. It's not like, I mean, it's not a bad value, but I'm saying if you want this game, generally getting it on the website will be roughly the same price, down the road, so you don't have to pay in advance for it, and you'll get it for roughly the same price. So you're not really getting a big savings or not on this one. And as far as will hold its value, these are games that you're playing through, so a little less so on that sense. But yeah, if you're trying to decide when to get it or how to get it and all that, you could get it on crowdfunding. It is not a bad price. You're just paying a year in advance to go ahead and do so when you can just get it on their own website down the road for a similar price point. So not a bad price, but also, you can buy from them now, you can buy from them later, kind of a do this or do that. Doesn't really make a significant difference if you're into it. I will say in general, a big thing I should always say on these videos is if you're on the fence about something and you want to see how much you care, don't back something, or back at $1 and see if you still care. You can save a lot of money by backing at $1 because the time you want it most is doing the crowdfunding campaign, and after that you don't want it because you want the new thing that's on crowdfunding. And if you repeat that cycle forever and you always tell yourself that future Alex will get it, well, future Alex won't get it, and you'll save a whole lot of money. Moving on over here. We have the Gilded Realms, which is our last campaign for the day. 820 backers, 25 days to go, $64,000 raised. The Gilded Realms is a captivating Euro-style kingdom builder for 2 to 4 players. Rule wisely, etc., etc., etc. This is a kingdom builder game. You're going to be drafting cards over here. You're going to be pulling cards from a deck and playing them into your kingdom, trying to get sets of cards to advance your kingdom. As you play these sets of cards, you're going to be advancing these cards into higher and higher levels, which will allow you to buy technologies from different tech trees in the game, all across 12 rounds of play as you try to figure out how to build your kingdom in the most efficient, optimal way possible while building it all out and trying to score as well as you possibly can in this game from Sandtime Games. Pledge levels are going to run you over here. We're going to have $68 for the Gilded Realms Standard Edition, and we're going to have $85 for the Gilded Realms Deluxe Edition for the game over here, which brings us to the whole should you back it, should you not, will it hold its value. I'm skeptical it will. I think that the game it's a good game. I have coverage of the game. You can check that out. But I just think the price point for what you get for the $85 for the deluxe edition of the game, I don't know if this is I don't see the demand being as up there. Now the Kickstarter campaign has done definitely well. So 821 backers, that is a good number for the crowdfunding campaign. So it's not bad at all in terms of the demand currently. The question is, will that hold up down the road? And I think the price point just puts it, once you factor in shipping and the price point, I think this is one that's just I think it's less likely to have that same demand down the road. And that is basically everything as far as the campaigns, which means the pick of the week. And this is the point of the video where I realized I didn't do picks of the week. Oh boy. Okay, let's do this. Picks of the week. I'm going to have to do this off the cuff here. Let's go through this quickly. Okay, because I forgot. We got these, we got that, we got this, we got that. Deep Six, no. I mean, I'm tempted to just for like that campaign, but no. This is tough. Whew. Alright, value pick of the week over here. The value pick of the week, and that's the game that I think is the most likely to hold its value, that's going to be over here, The Witcher. I think The Witcher: The Path of Destiny is an easy pick for the value pick of the week. I think a combination of exclusive content, a track record of a game that has held its value, a strong IP, I think that The Witcher: Path of Destiny is my pick for the value pick of the week. For my personal interest pick of the week, I'm going to give you two only because I usually like to think about it beforehand, but I don't want to do that angsty thinking about it on camera. So instead I'm going to tell you that the two I'm torn between are Dice Stone Missions and Ezra and Nehemiah. Ezra and Nehemiah I'm kind of more interested in, but I've actually played Dice Stone Missions. I know I enjoy it, so I'm kind of more torn in those two aspects there. But those two are going to be my personal interest pick of the week, the games that I am most interested in picking up in one way or another to get my hands on them and play them. And that's what we have over there, which brings us to the campaigns coming up next week. And as for those, we have Dream Escape launching on Gamefound with 9,000 people following this campaign, launching on from Bad Cat Games. Dream Escape is going to be a solo Cthulhu choose-your-own-adventure style nightmare, so that's going to be launching shortly. And then we also have Secrets of the Lost Tomb Epic Edition with 8,000 people following the campaign, also launching in 2 days over on Gamefound. This is a anniversary edition of Secrets of the Lost Tomb, bringing it back after 10 years with upgrades and stuff and more stuff over on Gamefound. And that is everything. Until next week, until next time. Well, next week there won't be a two-back not to back. There should be an upcoming crowdfunding campaigns, but that is a conversation of a different day. But until next time, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co. I hope you enjoyed this video, and as always, I hope you have a good one. Imagine if you walked into a bar and there was a long line of people just waiting to take a swing at you. That's the punchline.